Hey there, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me on Wave Now's We Should Talk About It. I'm Myra Ansari, and today we have a new guest with us, Dr. Derek Mydlarz. He's the Global Medical Director for GE Appliances. And today, we're talking about something that's really important, your mental health at work. You all take it really seriously at GE to kind of get that care for your employees when it comes to mental health. But today we're talking about something that everybody, regardless of where you work at, they can take these skills and things that they should prioritize to kind of balance. I hate to say balance because, right, is there ever really a balance of work and life?
We aspire to balance.
Yeah, we aspire to balance. But what is your biggest advice for folks? Because sometimes work is really stressful and it impacts our mental health.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Glad to be here. I think prioritizing your self-help is very important. So just sticking to basics, things like making sure you're eating right, a healthy diet, that you're sleeping well and have the right sleep hygiene to make sure that that happens at night, that you're exercising and getting some activity. Stay away from harmful substances that can disrupt sleep and otherwise your health, and really ensuring that you intentionally work some breaks into your day and fun into your life in general. I think if you do those very basic things well and first, you're setting yourself up for good success.
I think sometimes in our culture we think, we just gotta, you clock in, you clock out, you are just, giving it your all, and then we realize I'm out of steam, I'm out of energy, and I'm not taking care of myself.
That is true.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So how do you mentioned those things to kind of doing the breaks. How important is it to kind of stop during the day, maybe step outside, maybe walk the hallways, go talk to a coworker? How important are those things?
Oh, they're extremely important for most people anyway. I think, again, being intentional really helps with that. So one of the strategies one can use is set your clock or alarm or phone to go off every hour and a half. It'll be a reminder for you to, drop what you're doing, maybe stand up if you're sitting down, maybe do a little bit of exercise in place in your office even, or take a walk outside. Be with the sun, be with the nature, if you will. Connect with your coworkers. All of that is very important. But I think the key to all of this is that being intentional, having a plan really helps. Otherwise, work can take over, and next thing you know, it's 5 p.m. and you haven't done any of those things that your body and your mind really need.
Do you think companies are now, Dr. Mydlarz, being a little bit more cognizant that, okay, we need to be aware of how people are feeling?
Oh, I think so. Certainly with GE Appliances, we have taken it very seriously. And we as a company are being intentional to make sure that we design the culture within the company that embraces good, flexible work, ensuring that folks take vacations that they need to be taking, really talking about it, and ensuring that it's a stance that everybody understands and knows that we support.
And I think some of that has changed, Dr. Mydlarz. I don't know what you think about it, but I think during the pandemic, we realized some of those things, like how important it is to take care of our mental health. When do you think that shift came about in workplaces? Like, okay, we need to do something differently because people are not okay.
Yeah, I think it has been happening for a little bit, albeit slowly. And I think pandemic has truly exacerbated the mental health crisis that, frankly, we have had in this country for a very long time. And it brought it to the forefront of a lot of folks. It became visible, if you will. And that, I think, has really helped companies and individuals and groups really rethink what is the right thing to do here. How do we make sure that everybody wins in this equation, where the employees are happier, more resilient, and healthier, that the company's bottom line, therefore, is healthier as well, and in general, that we support one another in a way that's constructive.
I think when companies realize when employees are doing well mentally and physically, their performance at work is better.
Yes, it is.
Isn't it?
A lot of things get better. Performance is one of those, of course, but also there is a work satisfaction and cohesion also improves. People are more creative, for example, when they're healthier mentally and are more resilient. They innovate more. They are coming to work more often, if you will. So absenteeism goes down. Presenteeism also decreases. And so there are many benefits to having a healthy workforce, including mental health, of course.
And I think the employee values that job more, right? They're not dreading that
That's true.
oh, I don't want to go into work. Like this is just 8 or 9 hours of my day that I just have to bear down and get through.
That is a very good point. And as a result, the turnover is less, right? Because folks like what they do, they like where they are, with whom they are, and they embrace the company culture if it embraces them, for sure.
So you mentioned some things that we can do as employees, but what are some things that you suggest, say if somebody runs a company and they're watching this today or hearing this, what should they do for their employees?
Well, I think they should listen to their employees is number one. So one of the things we have done is we formed a mental health task force. And one of the first things that the task force did is go out there and do some surveys and focus groups to understand what are the barriers to health, including mental health. What can we do? What do people want? What do they expect from their employers? What would they like to see? And then we've taken that very seriously and turned it into plans and initiatives that we've rolled out. So I think listening is number one. I think folks pretty quickly pick up that if it's one of those check the box things, because they're not being listened to, it's not really going to matter. It's not going to really be effective and impactful. So I think educational programs and awareness campaigns about mental health to help destigmatize the topic, to help sort of bring it to the forefront. So talking about it is very important, and bringing outside folks or inside folks who have knowledge about this topic area, and engaging folks in those discussions through various seminars and small groups and so on, I think is very key. I think lastly, bringing in services and resources to the company. So a robust, really well-functioning employee assistance program, licensed clinical social workers on site for those who need them. And then in the end, ensuring that we engage the employees. If you have a great program, whether it's employee assistance program, educational program, and otherwise sort of a engagement program, if you will, if no one knows about it, no one understands it, if no one knows how to reach the resources effectively and quickly, and if no one knows about it, then in the end, it's like having a luxury vehicle shine that's sitting in the garage, no one ever sees or drives. And so being out there, talked about, and effectively marketed to employees and their family members is also very important.
I know people out there are watching. I think we've all had like a somewhat of a breakdown at work, right? Whether you are sitting there at your desk and you're crying, you're upset, something bothered you, somebody said something to you that you didn't like, you feel like, just hopeless at work. That's not a great feeling. How do we get out of these spaces? Is it talking to somebody? Is it maybe taking a day off to refocus? What do we do?
Yeah, I think taking a day off is a very important step. It provides you with a little bit of space in between the issue that you're dealing with and where you need to be. It's an ability to reflect on what is going on and what is my role in it and what I can do to make this better. But it's certainly talking with somebody else is crucial, which is why, for example, at GE Appliances, we have what we call mental health allies. Those are individuals who are not mental health professionals, but are interested in the topic, want to be there to help, if you will, are willing to take some training courses, and are available to others in the plants and other places where we are, so that if I am having a bad day at work and it's escalating and I know I need to do something about it, I know who to talk to, and they will know in turn how to triage me, so to speak, and connect me with the right resources when I need them.
I think talking is the big thing, right, Dr. Mydlarz? Sometimes we just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to explode. I need to just get this off my chest. I need to get this out of my mouth. And having that safe space for somebody to have at work is really important.
It is. Talking about it with somebody, with a disinterested third party that's not involved in whatever issue, conflict, or struggle you have, provides a lot of perspective. You're able to then sort of see it from a different perspective, understand, what may be causing this, what I need to do. It is a very effective tool to really reground us and then understand what the right way forward is for us to be able to be healthier in that respect.
Do most of these bumps in our road, in our career, in our work first, do they usually just pass? Do we usually resolve them, or what do we do?
Time is a great equalizer. I think you're absolutely right. I think the perspective of time just by itself helps us sort of see it in a different light and understand that it's not as overwhelming as it might have been or seemed to have been at the time. But certainly, again, having somebody there to listen to you and to provide that perspective sooner than the time would do it on its own is also very effective, because it helps us get back to where we need to be more effectively and faster.
What are some warning signs or some red flags? Okay, maybe my mental health at work, the job that I'm doing is not good for my mental health. What are some things that I need to be aware of?
If you get up in the morning and you're stressed out and you dread what you were said at the beginning, at the onset, I think that's a very good sign. That means something is wrong. Something is causing me to have this reaction, this visceral reaction to having to go to work. I think examining that then becomes very important. Also, some physical symptoms while you're at work or on the way to work. If you're nauseous, if your stomach hurts, if you get headaches while you're at work, those could also be signs that you're not mentally well, but also then manifested as physical symptoms as well.
Interesting. So what do you do?
Well, you seek help.
Okay.
And so to the extent that the company is able to provide a easy, barrier-free way for you to reach that help, it's all the better for you as an employee.
Do you, seeking help is the first thing. Is it maybe this job is not cut out for me? Maybe I need to reevaluate what I'm doing? When do you start to think about that? Because that's probably adding to the stress of it all, right?
Yeah, I think if it's very pervasive, once you examine what the issue is, if it's something isolated or something contained to a particular part of my job that you can potentially re-engineer, so to speak, to make it work for you, that's one thing. But I think if there are multiple things, if the cultural fit is not there, you and the company, and you keep bumping up against it, and if it's multiple layers of what you do and folks with whom you interact, then that's certainly a cause for re-examination whether you're in the right place, doing the right things at the right time.
With companies that don't take mental health seriously, what would be your message to them?
Do it.
Very simple. Just do it.
Well, I mean, there are very tried and true ways of approaching your employees and their family members' mental health, and I think starting is the best advice. And I think listening, being the first step, is the most productive step one can take as an employer.
Mm-hmm. And we have to remind ourselves, while we're here clocking in and clocking out, spending our time here, we have lives and worlds outside of here that could be causing even more mental stress for us. And we're human. We carry that with us, right? I'm stressed out about my aging parents, my kids. I'm worried about them performing at school, or my husband and I just got into a big fight and now I'm in a bad mood at work. All of that, it's not like you walk through the door and you forget all those things.
Sure.
They impact us. You carry them with you.
You certainly do. And interestingly, and this has been borne out with some research, workplaces tend to be the last places where people tend to show their emotional distress, if you will. They will first take it out, quote unquote, on their family, on their loved ones, on their friends, maybe, by drinking too much or otherwise medicating themselves. Workplaces tend to be, not always, but they tend to be the last place where the cracks are shown. Because folks, are embarrassed potentially.
Sure.
It's a livelihood, that they.
You don't want to lose your job.
Absolutely. And so, unfortunately, or for employers, if you see, someone having significant issue, it's probably the end of the road that has many, many turns along the way that then shows up at work, as one of the last places.
That's really interesting. I never thought about it that way, because we do keep ourselves composed.
Right.
For the most part, right?
Right. Until we don't.
And when that moment of breakdown happens, it's been usually a buildup of a number of things that have happened.
That is correct. It's almost never one thing. Absolutely. Because we are resilient. All of us have some resiliency. And as we chip away with that, with things that happen in our lives, then eventually, it boils over. This is why it's important for managers to understand this. And when they see decline in performance, something just doesn't seem right. The person is not what they usually are. They may not be showing anything significant or overwhelming, but that could be a sign that something's going on. And so, as opposed to having the knee-jerk reaction of being punitive, hey, you're not doing your work, we're going to do something different, or you need to do something different, or we're going to put you through this program or that and the other, without asking the question, is the wrong response, really, most of the time.
Sure.
You want to be inquisitive. You want to ask, I noticed X, Y, Z, D, and F. You're not, you don't look like yourself. You don't act like yourself. Or your performance has been slipping. Give them, some tangential evidence that you're noticing, and then ask them the question: how can I help? What's going on? Can I help you in some way, shape, or form? Can we talk about it? And I think when you do that, you open the door for them to share what might be bothering them truly, and then for affecting their work performance. And at worst, you'll find out that they just truly are not good performers. Maybe there isn't anything, right? Yeah. At best, you might save somebody's life, because maybe they have been contemplating suicide and just not showing it to anyone at work just yet. And so I think it's a very powerful tool for managers to be inquisitive, to give that space and permission to engage in some trust between the employees and the managers.
I think approach can make a world of a difference, right? Instead of someone saying, hey, I noticed you didn't make your deadline. Why didn't you do this? I'm going to put you on, give you a notice that you didn't get this done. There are a lot of things that how we approach people can really make a difference and can actually be more productive.
Absolutely, as opposed to reactive, and as opposed to pitting the two parties against one another automatically, and for the employee potentially be on defense from the start.
Yeah, because that's kind of normal, right? We all get defensive. Nobody likes to know that, or someone be told, you didn't do this right, or I didn't like how you did this, right. And that kind of hurts. It hurts to hear that.
It does, and which is why I started with listening, right? Even in a crazy day where things are happening, deadlines are coming up, and folks are stressed out. For a manager to be able to slow down him or herself and ask the right question inquisitively, without judgment, can make a huge difference in the culture of the workplace. And therefore, I think the productivity, everything else we've talked about, in addition to really minding folks' health.
So it's important for companies to invest that education to their managers. Look, it's not just about getting all these things done on the list. It is also your well-being, noticing, hey, I'm a manager. I notice, hey, you've just not been yourself. You're not your bubbly self. You're not talking. What's going on?
Yeah, that is true. I think what we're discussing here is a sort of short-term approach to getting things done. Versus a longer term approach of being really productive, effective, and innovative. And we have to balance those two. And I think not enough attention is given to the latter.
I think it's very refreshing to hear that companies want to see mental health be prioritized for their employees. As for the reasons you said, Dr. Mydlarz, you get less turnover, you get happier employees who value their job, people who are creative. There's just a positive ripple effect that we see when we say, hey, how are you doing? Let's talk about this. You don't seem like yourself. Or what can I do to help you? How's your family?
I couldn't have said any better.
Yeah. Okay. What should folks do, Dr. Mydlarz, if they're feeling, you know what, I'm not doing well at work. I am not feeling good about what's going on and how I'm feeling.
Well, I think, again, they need to reflect as to why they are feeling this way. There usually is a cause or multiple causes. And there's usually a remedy. And I think taking the step to reflect and then potentially seek help or another person's opinion can go a long way to understanding what's going on, why it's going on, and what I can do about it, if anything.
Make a friend at work. Find somebody you can talk to too.
Oh, yes. Part of being mentally healthy and resilient is having a tribe. Whether that's at home with friends, community involvement, and so on and so forth. It's also at work too. And there's a reason why folks say, that you have a work family of sorts. I don't necessarily agree with that term 100%.
Yeah.
Because workplaces are a little different than family.
Sure, of course.
But the point is that we need to feel a part of a team at work. And having that tribe, having that support, identifying people to whom you can go and talk about things, whom you can trust, and they will trust you instead, or in reverse, if you will, or inverse, is super important. Not only is it good for your mental health, is it good for your grounding, it's also very productive in terms of building that team cohesion. Yeah.
Great advice here. Dr. Mydlarz, what am I not asking you that you feel like folks joining us today would benefit from hearing from you about?
I think what you're not asking potentially is the fact that we need to have frank conversations And they can be difficult, they can be painful, but I think they're necessary if we are to move forward on ensuring that mental health is minded as much as physical health, that it's understood as much as physical ailments, and that it is addressed as much as we need it to be addressing it.
Getting it off your chest.
Yes.
Saying the truth, how you really feel.
Yes. Being yourself at work, for example, is very important. And if yourself is not well, it is okay not to be okay, is what I would say. And if the reaction to that is negative, closing down, so to speak, not listening, not minding, not paying attention, maybe
shutting you down,
shutting it up. Thank
you.
Go
get it. Go.
Maybe you're not in the right
place.
place.
That's not. Maybe it is that we have to. If you're not being heard, if you're not, I think there's a huge value to really when you feel like you're finally seen, when you're finally heard, and someone not judging you or making you feel like, okay, I'm not nuts. This is how I'm feeling. This is what is going. I just need someone to hear me and listen to me. And that makes a huge difference.
It does. And it normalizes things. All of us have either been there ourselves or know someone close to us who has. This is just as common. Mental health issues, struggles, concerns are just as common as physical ones. We just don't tend to talk about it. And that is not healthy.
Companies are really taking a proactive, since you are the global medical director for GE Appliances, GE is just not cranking out, microwaves and refrigerators. It is something like you all are really focusing on how your employees are doing. I think that's remarkable.
Well, thank you. You shouldn't be, but I appreciate the compliment. It's good all the way around. Everybody wins in this scenario. Certainly the employees who feel supported, who are healthier, hopefully, and more resilient. The company benefits as well in terms of the turnover we talked about, the bottom line, the creativity, the innovation. It is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. We just don't do enough of it, don't talk about it, and don't take action.
Well, thank you for doing that today for us.
You're 100% welcome.
All right. I'm Myra Ansari with Dr. Derek Mydlarz from GE Appliances, the global medical director there. I appreciate your time today. Hopefully you all can find some peace at your work and carry that through your day. Have a great day.
Thank you.